walk of lives. So I think today we will have come to know about this pros and cons and how it is having impact on our life. And for discussion on this very topic, we have in studio Dr. Anand Pradhan. He teaches journalism as student in Indian Institute of Mass Communication and non-political communicator. So we'll also come to know how this media have impact on the political situation and political life. So on your behalf, I welcome Dr. Anand Pradhan for EdSet lecture on this very topic. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Amarendraji, and also a very good afternoon to all students, faculty members, and the general audience whoever may be watching this program. As Amrenji already told you, today we will discuss about the social media and why social media is so important for all communicators, those who are involved in communication profession or those who aspire to be a good communicator, why they must think about social media. Also for policymakers, for those who are in the field of corporate communication or public relation, or those who are working in the development communication sector, particularly as a development communicator, and also those who are working in the field of media advocacy, why they should think about social media, why social media is emerging so fast, what are the reasons behind the social media. As you all know, the social media is nothing but a platform where people are sharing their experiences, their ideas, their emotions, they are mobilizing. The key word here is sharing, which means they are sharing not only their ideas but about what is happening in and around society. They are also sharing information. They are mobilizing people. They are in fact doing so many things through this social media. It's basically about participation. As you all know, in the last 10 to 15 years, communication landscape has changed. And why communication landscape is changing? It is because of the technology. Technology is playing very important role in the changing scenario where the communication is just not face-to-face communication, or it is not just some mass media like television or radio or newspapers, but it is also about how technology or the new inventions in technology is playing important role, where different type of media is converging within one technology. So today we will discuss why social media, which is growing very popular particularly among youth, is important tool or platform for all those communicators who want to communicate their audiences, or those who want to share their information, ideas and emotions. So let us start discussing why social media is coming. What are the reasons behind the emergence of social media? Because times are changing, as we have discussed. Why times are changing? Because we all know that there is a kind of decline in trust in institution, from media to government to business. Need repetitions to earn trust. Actually, what is happening, the trust among all the institution, people don't trust their institution, from media to government to business. All those institutions of governance are in crisis. People are not trusting them, and their trust in those institutions is declining. And that is why whenever these institutions like media or government or businesses are communicating with people, they need to repeat those messages to get trust or to earn trust of their consumers or their listeners or their viewers or their readers. Number two, 90% of consumers or the people trust recommendation from other fellow consumers, while trust in ads is under 10%. Actually, what is happening nowadays, because of this growing importance of social media, people really don't believe in advertisements. Whatever advertisements are published in newspapers or which are broadcast on television channels or radio station, people don't believe them. Almost there are surveys, there are researches which shows that 90% of people don't believe in advertisements. They don't trust the advertisements. While taking decisions about their consumption or about buying something, they generally talk to their fellow consumers or other community members or their family members or their friends or their colleagues about what to buy and which brand to buy. And that is why almost 90% of consumers are getting recommendation from their fellow consumers or the fellow colleague or the friends, and whatever they are buying, it is because of those recommendation and not from driven by the advertisements. So which means only 10% of consumers are believing in ads and deciding what to buy and what not to buy after watching advertisements. Number 3, which is again very important, why times are changing. Technology is playing more and more important role in everyday life. Actually, as we all know, technology is emerging as very important source, tool and instrument for communication. You know, now this mobile phone, which is a very important tool for all of us. Now what is happening, there is a thesis that this screen of mobile phone is called fourth screen. The first screen was, as you all know, the cinema. When cinema came, it impacted large number of people. It created a new kind of imaginary among people. So when cinema came, it was a kind of miracle. Then came television, which you are watching. Again, television was a very revolutionary invention, and it connected people. People have started watching. When even in India, when television came, people were watching all the programs on television. In fact, when only Doordarshan was there, we all were used to watch even Krishi Darshan those days. So when Doordarshan came, again it was a very powerful medium. Then came the computer. You all know the importance of computer as a technology. It revolutionized how you or we, I or we all communicate with each other. So the computer was fourth screen, and then came this mobile phone, which is called fourth screen. And this mobile phone is also in fact revolutionizing how we communicate with colleagues, our friends, our relatives and other people. So I think another important thing about this mobile phone and its fourth screen, that all the technology are now converging in mobile phone. Like what is happening? Actually, what is happening? In mobile phone now, after this 3G technology, you can watch television, you can read newspapers, you can access your email and respond to people, you can chat with people, you can send SMS text, and you can also listen music, you can listen radio stations, you can visit different internet websites. So every media which we are using separately now converging in mobile phone. Secondly, why technology is playing important role? Earlier, if you want to read newspaper or if you want to watch television channel, you have to go and sit and watch television channel. If you want to see the cinema, you have to go to cinema hall and watch cinema in cinema hall. But with this portable technology called mobile phone is giving you freedom to be mobile, and while mobile you can communicate with people, you can talk to people, you can watch cinema, you can watch television channels, you can read newspapers, you can access information. So this technology is also playing more and more important role in everyday life. In fact, we cannot imagine our life without this mobile phone. In fact, this mobile phone, in India, where we are still unable to provide drinking water, some basic necessities to our people, in that country, now mobile phone is reaching almost 70% of population. The total number of telephones in India is more than 70 crore. So it's a, it's a big achievement, and in fact this shows how people are using technology and how technology is very friendly to them, how technology is empowering them. The next important thing why times are changing is technology is empowering individuals and they are demanding dialogue and not lecture, advice and instruction. Because this technology is empowering us, it is giving power to us. How it is giving power to us? Even I can give you another example about this mobile phone or some other technology like camera, digital camera, or the digital video camera. These technologies are playing important role. Earlier, only the journalists were writing writing in newspapers or broadcasting on television channels. Now, a common person can become a journalist. How? Suppose if you are going through somewhere and you see something unusual happening on road or in some colony or somewhere near your house, you can just shoot through this mobile phone, which is also providing you a camera. By shooting this either still photograph or the video photograph, you can upload those photographs on certain social networking sites like Facebook, or you can upload those photographs on YouTube, and thousands and thousands of people can watch those photographs or video clip. And by doing this, you are able to attract attention towards what you want to raise as an important issue before the society or before the policy makers or before the administrator of your area, or if you want to attract attention of your administrator to some problems in your area. So in a way, technology is also empowering us. It is giving power to dialogue. Nowadays, you all know, now we can not only communicate, we can not only access information, but also share information. And actually the communication, as we all know, is a two-way process. And in two-way process, nobody wants to be lectured. Nobody wants advice. They want conversation. They want dialogue. And because they want dialogue, people are interested more in dialogue, conversation, and not in lecture. That is why what is happening, technology is empowering us. Now, because of this, there is a growing horizontal communication, peer-to-peer communication, which means it is not top-down, which means a communicator is lecturing from top to down, and the message is flowing from top to below. Instead, there is a growing tendency of horizontal communication, means peer-to-peer communication, communication at equal level, not a top-down approach where a policy maker or a communicator may be communicating from top and sending some messages. As you all know, in mass media theories, there was a theory called magic bullet theory, where it was believed that whatever communication we are sending through mass media are working like magic bullet. But we all know that that theory or that understanding was flawed. And in fact, the more powerful information or the more powerful way to communicate is basically a kind of conversation, dialogue, interpersonal communication, which is more influential. And with social media or the emergence of social media, this growing horizontal communication, which means peer-to-peer communication at equal level, is also growing. With this, communication landscape is changing and demanding more proactive role from PR professional, from communication professional, from advocacy professionals, and from policymakers also, from politicians also, those who are in power also. They must think about this changing communication landscape where people are expecting information not from top down, but they want dialogue, they want conversation. So this must be understood by the policymakers, by the PR professionals, by the advocacy persons. Now, another important thing is, with this changing communication landscape, media landscape is also changing. How? We all know that newspapers are declining, particularly in developed Western countries. We all know that newspapers had played very important role in development of nationalism. They also played a very important role during the Renaissance. They also played very important role in India's freedom movement. But nowadays, what is happening with newspapers? Particularly in most developed Western societies, newspaper circulation is declining. Their revenue is declining. Almost in all Western democracies like US, Britain, Germany, France, and most of the European countries, except few, newspaper circulation is declining, and it is declining from the last 10 to 15 years. And in fact, I would like to discuss this point in a greater detail. In the last 4 or 5 years, a very reputed magazine like Economist, they published 2 cover story on this issue. The first cover story was Future of the Newspapers, and then after 1.5 years, they published another cover story on this issue, and the title of that cover story was Who Killed the Newspapers? Which means newspapers are, in fact, in all Western developed democracies, they are dying. According to Professor Philip Mayer, who is very prominent media analyst, educator, and media theorist in US, he in fact written a book called The Vanishing Newspapers. And in that book, he calculated mathematically, if suppose the present trend of declining circulation and revenue continues in the US, what will happen to the newspapers? What is the fate of newspapers in US? And according to his mathematical calculation, you will be surprised to know that in the last printed copy of a newspaper will be published in April 2040, and after that there will be no newspaper in US. So same thing is going to happen in most of the European countries, Japan, all the developed countries. They are facing this threat to their newspapers. But in India and China and in South Africa and in some other Latin American countries, newspaper circulation are still increasing. But I know, and we all know, that with the growing technology and the expansion of technology, and particularly this new media, the development and expansion and growth of newspapers in the next 10 to 15 years, even in countries like India and China, will start suffering. So on the one hand, newspaper circulation is declining. Another important thing is people are spending less time with traditional media. This is another trend which is emerging. What is happening, particularly the young people, aged between 15 to 25, or you may still count 30 years. So from 15 to 30 years, they are not watching television. In fact, they are not reading newspapers. They are not listening radio station. So most of the traditional media like newspapers or television channels or radio station, they are not watching or listening or reading. What they are doing, but still they are accessing information. Still they are reading news, but they are accessing and reading news through internet, through websites, through the new media. And with this, the time is spent on mass media is decreasing. And with this growing phenomenon of new media is emerging. The third important thing about media landscape is people have more choices. Earlier we were used to read only 2 or 3 newspapers, those who are published from our cities. We were used to watch only Doordarshan. Now we have more than 700 television channels, and despite we have 700 channels, at least 300 to 400 channels are available on television channels or our DTH. But we are just watching 3 or 4 or 5 or at maximum 10 channels. We are not watching all the channels. There are numerous choices available to us even in mass media. But with advent of new media or internet, the choices have also increased tremendously. We have more choices. Suppose if you just want to read only news related to international issues, you can access New York Times or Washington Post or Newsweek or Economist magazine or any other newspapers published from other country, particularly in developed Western countries. So, and you can also visit those specialized niche websites which are providing information about foreign affairs, international affairs, deeply, and they are also providing, and you can also access those websites who are related to think tanks, those think tanks who are exclusively working on particular niche areas. So people have now more choices, and because people have more choices, they are in fact visiting those niche areas where they are more interested in. So they are not watching traditional media, newspaper circulation is declining, the trust in those newspapers and television channels is also declining. So communication and media landscape both are changing. With this, new media is growing very fast and now more popular among youth. The new media, as we have discussed, is now more popular and it's growing very fast. The second important thing is content is still king, but content which is created and generated by users. We all know this is a cliche that content is king, but content is still king. Despite the emergence of new media, despite the more choices available to us, content is still king. There are millions of websites, but we are not visiting all the millions of websites. We are generally visiting some of the important websites. Like if you need some information, some deep information, you may visit Wikipedia. You may visit some other such websites, but you are not visiting all the websites because there are millions of pages, millions of websites. But we are visiting only trusted, credible websites which are providing accurate, objective information to us. So content is still king, but the content which is created and generated by users, I think this is very important. Why this is important? What is Wikipedia? Wikipedia is basically an encyclopedia which is created, generated, edited, improved by people like you and me. We have created Wikipedia. People are contributing for Wikipedia. So that is why this new phenomenon called UGC. You are watching this program on CEC UGC, which is a part of UGC, and we all know UGC means University Grant Commission, but in the lexicon of social media, it is basically user generated content. That is also UGC, which is more popular, which is more interesting nowadays. People are not interested in the content which is created by some writer or some big intellectual or important or famous intellectual, but they are now more interested in content created by people like you and me, the common people. So they are more interested in the content which is part and parcel of our daily conversation, daily communication. With this, another thing which is we are discussing regularly, new media, emergence of new media. which is again very important, and I will discuss what is new media. New media is a broad term that encompasses the amalgamation of traditional media such as films, images, music, spoken and written word with the interactive power of computer and communication technology, and most importantly the internet. So if I have to summarize this definition in few words, it is basically marriage of traditional media, which means images, film, text, music, spoken words, with the interactive power of computer and communication technology. When communication technology and computer converged with this traditional media, they created a new platform which is called internet or the new media. It forced even traditional media to change and evolve. It created an entirely new set of influencers with a completely different mechanism for collecting and sharing information, while also reforming the daily routines of people searching for news and information. So what happened, this new media has in fact forced even the traditional media. Now what is happening? Earlier we were used to read newspapers after 24 hours. But nobody now wants to wait for 24 hours. So even newspapers were forced to start their own website, and where they are updating information every minute. So now what is happening? We want information immediately. We want information instantly. That is what have changed in the media and communication landscape, that it's now real-time information, real-time news. Whatever is happening, people want that information immediately, instantly, and that is why live television is now so popular, and that is why internet is so popular. So whenever there is anything happened and or happening, this must be informed to your listeners, readers and viewers. So this also forced the traditional media to change. Secondly, it also changed the way we were collecting and sharing information. The journalists, the role of journalists and editors, their role have also changed. The way we are collecting and sharing information with our audiences have also changed. New media allowed people to connect, share, raise voice, mobilize, organize, change and participate. So this new media has given us opportunity to connect with other people, share information, ideas, emotions, raise our voice. Suppose if you have problem with some issues, if you want to raise an issue, you can use new media to mobilize people, raise your voice, organize people, change and participate. So what is happening, as we all know, what happened during the Arab Spring movement. During the Arab Spring movement, either in Egypt or in Tunisia or in Syria and on some other countries, and even in Iran, where censorship, where media is controlled, people have started sharing information, people have started organizing and mobilizing people, people have started raising their voice through new media, because we all know that controlling the new media is a bit difficult. In fact, it is very difficult to control new media or internet, as even the Information and Broadcasting Minister has recently in an interview accepted that it's almost impossible to control and manage new media or internet. So it is very difficult for governments even to control the new media, and that is why people are using this new media to organize, to raise voice, to mobilize people for certain cause or to raise a certain issue. And it is giving opportunity to people to participate in certain movement or certain program or certain issues. What are the strengths of new media? We call new influencers. Earlier, the influencers were journalists, intellectuals, but nowadays this new media have created new set of influencers. Those influencers, we all know about citizen journalists, we all know about bloggers, we all know about WikiLeaks, Julian Assange. He is a new influencer. He is influencing policymakers. He is influencing public opinion. Citizen journalists are contributing and setting the agenda. So these are the new set of influencers which are forcing or changing the communication landscape. What are the strengths of new media? The first and foremost, I think, is interactivity. As we all know, communication is basically interaction. So it is providing opportunity for interaction. It is also giving individuality or personalization, which means earlier in newspapers you are just a consumer. You just read newspapers. You don't have or you don't have opportunity to present yourself in the newspaper. Now with this Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, as a person, as an individual, you have opportunity to present your view or your ideas before the public. So the third important thing is direct and easy access. As I have already told, this is a portable medium. It is giving opportunity to carry this technology at least technology is providing opportunity to you to carry this mobile phone with you, where every technology is converging and it has a very direct and easy access. Fourth, user oriented. This new technology, particularly the new media or the social media, is user oriented. Its focus is basically on users. They are the creators of new content. They are setting the agenda on the social media platforms or on new media. So its focus is on users, not those who are creating content. Fifth thing is UGC, user generated content is more important now. As we all know, now what bloggers are writing, what citizen journalist is saying, what WikiLeaks is saying, whatever is appearing in Wikipedia or whatever is appearing on YouTube. I will give you another example. Recently, you must have heard this song, Why This Colaveri D. You know how this song became so popular? It is through YouTube, where millions of people have watched this video, and this video instantly and immediately got viral, popular. So much popular that even the filmmakers were surprised to know how this song, which is I don't know how we can call it song or not, but despite that, it is so popular. So this user generated content is becoming more and more popular, and there are numerous examples. Take the case of Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga became popular through YouTube. She was not a very famous or popular singer, but when her videos were played on YouTube, people have started watching and she became so famous and celebrity. So these new citizen journalists, bloggers, WikiLeaks are playing important role, and this is the strength of new media, and they have created new set of influencers. Growth and expansion of internet and mobile. When we are talking about all these things, what is the prospect for new media or because whenever we discuss about social media or new media, people immediately raise a question that in country like India, where internet penetration or the communication technology penetration is still very low, but what are the prospects for future? Actually, in India, internet penetration is still very low. We all accept that. It is just around 9% of the total population, 9 to 10%. So around 110 million people have access to internet in India. In comparison to India, even developing countries like Brazil with 34%, China with 29.6%, almost 30%, Iran with 48%. Why? Because of this internet penetration, during the last time when young people have started protesting against the Iranian government, they use Twitter has played very important role, or Facebook has played very important role, even YouTube played very important role. So Iran with 48%, South Korea with 78% of internet penetration are far ahead than India. But we all know in India, technology is expanding very fast. Even the broadband is now going to the district headquarters, the Tehsil headquarters, and in very near future, as some private companies has got license for Wi-Fi broadband expansion, and in near future, uh, uh, I think within 4 or 5 years, we may have access to broadband connection through Wi-Fi without wire even in our villages. And with this, in near future, the internet penetration will certainly grow, and with growing penetration of internet, the new media or the social media will certainly become more popular. Second thing important, but due to sheer size of population, India is at number 4 in top 20 internet using countries. Because of our population, despite the fact that we have just 9% internet penetration, but because 110 million people are using internet in India and they have access to internet, we are at number 4 in top 20 internet using countries. The third important and startling fact is growth rate of internet penetration in India, which is more than 1500% between 2000 and 2009. So in just 9 years, from 2000 to 2009, internet penetration increased 15 times. I think this is remarkable achievement, this is remarkable growth, and with this speed, I think in the next 10 to 15 years, we may be able to match China, Iran, or even South Korea in internet penetration. Fourthly, in mobile connectivity, India's growth is remarkable, in fact phenomenal. Now more than 620 million or 62 crore people are using mobile phones. And with this, mobile phone is becoming very important tool for communication, for sharing information, and as we all know, with this third generation mobile, it is also providing opportunity for using this mobile phone for all kind of access to all kind of media. Now, we will discuss now the social media, which is called New World Order, or according to Thomas Friedman, he said that this new social media is fifth estate. We all know about all the fourth estate. Fourth estate was press or the media, which played very important role in democracies, or they played very important role in governance. Now this fifth estate is coming, which is social media. What is social media? Actually, it is basically Web 2, or the second generation of web. The term Web 2 or second generation web is commonly associated with web application that facilitate interactive sharing, interoperability, user generated content, design and collaboration on World Wide Web. So here important thing is information sharing, interoperability, user generated content and design, and collaboration on World Wide Web. And the examples of second generation web is basically social networking sites. You all know about social networking sites, the Facebook, and there are so many other. Facebook is most important or very popular now. Even the Google have started Google Plus, but there are many other social networking sites. Even the Twitter, which is micro blogging site, the video sharing site like YouTube. There are many other video sharing sites, wikis, blogs. These are the new platforms which are part of second generation web, and they have created new influencers about whom we have already discussed: citizen journalists, bloggers, those who are using websites, or those who are using YouTube, or those who are using even Facebook or Twitter for communicating, raising voices, organizing people. Advantage of social media. What are the advantages of social media? The first is stickier than traditional media. It sticks. Whatever you say on social media, it sticks with the consciousness, in the consciousness of people, because whatever you read or watch on television channel, because of their speed and so many things coming on it, sometimes we just forget about that. But whatever you read on social media, because it's a conversation, because you are whatever you are reading or interacting with people, you memorize those. It sticks with the users. Second thing is viral nature. The viral nature of social media is again very important, and we must discuss about this. What is viral nature? Actually, whatever is appearing on or written by one person on Facebook, or maybe on YouTube, or maybe on Twitter, immediately it reaches to thousands of people, and if it has something very interesting, something very unusual, it immediately catches the imagination of the users, and they start sharing that information, and within few hours you will find that millions and millions of people are using that information. So it has a very viral nature. It starts from one point, but it immediately travels to very far away places, and within a few hours millions of people may be reading, maybe discussing that issue, maybe sharing that information. So its viral nature is again very important, and that is why in many cases even governments have accepted that it is very difficult for governments to stop or to control any information if it is appeared on social media. Third thing is interactivity. We all know that people really want interaction. Whenever we think about communication, communication means interaction. It's basically two-way communication. So when we talk about social media, it is about interaction. Then high visibility on the net, because as you all know, internet or the new media is emerging important platform, and if you are using social media, you will be highly visible on the net. If you are not using social media, you may not be visible on new media. So all communicators, all communication professionals, either you are working in public relation, either you are working in media advocacy, or either you are working in policy making, you must think about social media. Then authenticity and personality. Whatever information is coming through social media, because someone is saying, and that living person, it is giving the personality to that information, the authenticity to that information. It scales. Popular brands, services, organization got more popular when they are using social media. And the organizations, the brands, the services, they are also using social media for trust building. Because when organizations are communicating with their community, the social community, different type of community, it also creating trust. Because as you all know, we have already discussed that almost 90% people don't believe in ads, which means they are not believing in their media, whatever is appearing in media. So, and all the institutions from government to businesses to media are losing credibility. They are losing credibility, they are losing the trust of the people. So if you want to build the trust, you must use social media, because social media is more personal, it has more authenticity, its viral nature, and it also scales. Now, how to deal with social media? There are few mantras of dealing with social media. If you want to use social media, I would like to say that the mantra of interacting with social media is interaction, conversation, engagement, and consistency. These four things is very important, which means social media is platform for interaction. It is not for one-way communication. Remember. So, because it's a platform for interaction, you must converse. Conversation is important here. And in conversation, you talk to people on equal terms. You respect each other. So, if you want to use social media, remember these two things: interaction and conversation, and conversing on the equal terms by respecting your fellow communicator or receiver. Third thing is engaging. So when you conversing with people, what you do, you engage people with your issues, you engage people with your information. So here engagement is important, and I think for any powerful communication, engagement is very important. If you fail to engage people with your communication or your message will be lost. So third important thing in dealing with social media is engagement. The fourth one is consistency. Here on social media, it is not one time affair. If you want to use a social media for communication purposes, as a communication professional or as a communicator, you must be consistent with your strategy. You must be available on internet or on social media regularly, frequently, consistently. So what are the issues? What are the questions? If you are planning to deal with social media, if you want to start your own interaction on social media, first question is, are you there? Are you present there? So if you want to start your conversation, you must be there on Facebook, you must be on Twitter, you must be on YouTube, you must be some other platforms. Second thing is understand and monitor. If you want to use social media, first you have to understand this medium, and for understanding, best thing is first you just monitor what is happening on social media. Second thing is be proactive. Always start your conversation. Think ahead, and if you are proactive, you will be able to engage people. Engagement while sharing is the key. Whatever you are sharing, you must understand that you are engaging people. Be open and receptive. Whenever you are communicating, you must be receptive to what you are getting in feedback. It is not one-way communication. Update and respond regularly and consistently. If you are on social networking sites, always update your status, always communicate regularly and consistently. Be careful of nasty things. I must tell something about this. As with other platforms or as with some other media, other traditional media, there is some problem with social media also. You may find sometimes some nasty things. Someone may be very critical of you. Someone may be abusing sometime you. But you have to deal with such things, because it's a open platform, it's a transparent platform, and there are all kind of people who are using this social media. So sometimes some people may abuse you or may say something very nasty about you, but you must be very respectful, you must be very firm. You deal with such situation, always try to defend yourself, but don't shout. Because you are conversing, because you are communicating, don't shout on those who are abusing you or saying something nasty about you. But you must defend yourself. It is your duty to defend yourself, but don't shout. I think this is very important. And with this, intercommunication second generation, a new level of expectations, because times are changing, because media is changing, because social media is coming. With this, communication landscape is also changing, and the second generation communication, which means we are again returning back to the end of top-down approach, and again it's a two-way street. So if you want to use social media, you must understand that it's communication, it's sharing information. Be transparent, be open, honesty is important, immediacy and alertness is important, depth to your content is important, updating as you learn is more important, and journalistic level of accuracy, need of multiple level of sources to corroborate your claims is also important in this second generation of, or the communication 2.0. With this advent of web 2, now it's time for communication 2.0. A new level of expectation is emerging for policymakers, for media advocacy people, for public relation professionals, for communicators as well. So with this, I would like to conclude my presentation here, and if you have any questions or queries or comments, I would be really happy to answer or would welcome all your comments.
Okay, well, you talked about in details about the new media, social media, how it is having impact on the things. But one thing I would like to know, as you mentioned, that now we have a number of options, like reading newspapers. The initial days we would read only
One
cities,
newspaper.
or two newspaper. But here we find the selectivity. People don't read the newspaper or watch the channel. They just flip the newspaper and click the channels here and there. So selectivity has come into the
Play.
scene. So how this will have impact on the, we can say, the communication style or communication landscapes? This one.
Now with this, what is happening, the change, because of these changes, it is impacting even the traditional media, as we have discussed. What is happening, in fact, you see, from the journalist also, nowadays what we expect from journalists, they must be multitasking. Now you are not only working for your newspapers, you are also working for your website. And not only that, I would also tell you important thing, that in many countries, the news media organization which are publishing newspapers, which may be also their own website, on their website they are broadcasting videos. So now what we expect from a journalist, that he not only he should report for newspaper, but also shoot a video, photograph, upload it on our website of a newspaper, and also this web mobile phone. So whenever any breaking news is happening, the news media organization, like a newspaper, they are also immediately flashing that information on your mobile. If you are subscribing that information, and this is forcing to change the way you were writing. Earlier, what was happening in intro, whenever you are writing a story, your intro would be around 50 words or 60 words or 70
That would
words.
conclude the entire story.
Entire story in your intro. But now what is happening because of this technology, I have heard this from a BBC editor. He told us that BBC is also broadcasting its information on mobile phone, because now it's a very important source for information for all of us, because it's giving us portability, real-time information. So what is happening now, they are forcing their journalists to write their intro of your story in just 24 words. And in those 24 words, whatever you are writing, that intro will immediately flash on mobile phone, the subscribers of the mobile phone, or those who are subscribing BBC instant news service. It will immediately go on their website, 24-word intro as a flash news. It will go to their television channel also, or their news radio station also. They will also broadcast. It will appear, whenever you get more information, it will appear on the website. On website, they will give you more links. On links through, you can access to more depth information about that particular incident. So this is changing the way we were communicating, the way we were sharing information, the way we were accessing information. Now this was from the communicator side. Now the receiver side, how we are receiving. Now what happens, whenever you heard about any information, you immediately want to know about the background. But sometimes you may see that newspaper is not giving background. Something has happened, but why this has happened? What was the background? What was the context? So you immediately go to the website and you try to access the background information through some niche website or through some website which are providing background or background information about such incidents. So the receiver is also now very active. He is not just a passive receiver of information, that you have only provided a newspaper, now I have only one option of newspaper, whatever I have only one option. But now I have more options, and I can search that information from many sources. So it is also changing the way we were consuming information, the way we were sharing information. If suppose something you like in your newspaper or in television channel, or something you have liked on internet, you immediately share that information through Facebook, through Twitter. You immediately put that on your Facebook page, and thousands of people will access that. Or on Twitter, millions of people may access that. So it is not only you are accessing information, but you are also sharing that information with your fellow friends or colleagues or relatives. And with this, the whole communication landscape and the way we were communicating is also changing. It's impacting, I think, tremendously the way we are communicating.
Okay, that is what we want to know. One is the selective, like viewers are selective, readers are selective. One task job is, if I want to know the news about the politics, I will not know only about the politics. And the reporter is supposed to be multitasking. He should know the politics, cinema, and others. So
and he should also know to use different platforms. Earlier, if you are working with a newspaper, you are only writing for newspaper.
Right.
Now you are also writing for your television channel, your website, your radio station, and for your mobile phone as well. So you have to think about all those platforms.
So the point is, now this is the only age of information. In the coming days, people would fail to analyze the thing in the right perspective, because they have not the breadth of, you can say.
No. In fact, what is happening, earlier we were getting only information. Now, because we have more options before us, if you want some in-depth information about an event or idea, or someone has said something, if you want to know more about that, or the context or background about that, how you will get that information? Earlier you have to go to the library, read some books, but now you have, with one touch of click, you will find lot of information on internet about that particular subject, and you can read those information. You can have more information about that particular subject or issue. So I think it is opening a more broader, in-depth possibility of accessing information, and its context is background also. In fact, niche information. Suppose if you want to access some information, there are think tanks. They have their own websites. They are presenting their research papers, their documents, their policy documents. Now the Planning Commission is uploading almost everything on their website. Earlier, it was very difficult to access the Planning Commission document. Either you have to go to the library or the Planning Commission office to get that information. Now it is available on website. So if you want to know what is written in 12th plan document, you can access thousands of page document, and you can get real information, first-hand information. So I think it is opening new opportunity for us to collect, share information.
So, well friend, with this note we would like to conclude the lecture here, and I would like to thank all of you for watching the lecture, and on your behalf I thank Dr. Anand Pradhan for giving such an insightful lecture on new media and social media. Thank you very much.
Thank you.